This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi everyone, Rusty back here with your latest Meteo Mundo forecast. It is early on this Tuesday evening, February the 6th. Coming at you here with some really important information. We have ongoing flash flooding through portions of Puerto Rico. We have gale warnings in effect for the central and northwest Bahamas. We're going to see some winds potentially over 50 miles an hour in those areas, really causing some problems and obviously elevated surf and sea conditions and some heavier rain and wind potential for other areas of the Caribbean. So we'll get right into it here. Thank you so much for liking the video. On this early Tuesday evening, we can see our area of low pressure developing here just to the north and east of the Bahamas. We have a lot of moisture-laden air being funneled into the eastern side of this massive low. So there's a lot of moisture coming through the Caribbean, and this is dumping some heavy rain through portions of Hispaniola and especially over Puerto Rico and portions of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Let me throw on the winds for you right now, and then we'll start off with what's happening in the Bahamas and then get into what's going on in Puerto Rico. So again, right now, we're seeing some up to 40 plus mile an hour winds with this low spinning. These are strong northerly winds right now for the Bahamas. We've had a 33 mile an hour wind gust lately in Nassau. That's a 40 mile an hour wind gust there in the Freeport area of Grand Bahama, and it's just going to be a very windy forecast. We're going to get some showers coming back in here, but again, sustained winds 30 to 40 miles an hour. There could be some gusts up to 50 between now and late evening on our Wednesday. Another 24 plus hours of some exceptionally strong winds as that area of low pressure continues to deepen. So really rough wind and wave conditions there. Let me switch over to our radar product here and we'll take a look at things. So going to kind of start off in the broad area and then I'm going to zoom back in. As a matter of fact here, let me go ahead and take the gusts off and then we'll switch over to our radar product. And this is the loop here over the last couple of hours, and you'll start to see those showers moving back in. Now this rain is not going to be as heavy as what it has been for the Northwest Bahamas the last couple of days, but we've had some flooding of low-lying areas in a couple of spots and at least the opportunity to see some additional rainfall here over the next 24 hours. Really the big story in the Bahamas is going to be the additional wind that we're going to see. It's going to kick up sea conditions. We could have some seas offshore of 12 to 13 feet. Small craft advisory is out. The gale warning is in effect. So basically all small craft here in the Bahamas should be staying in port for the next couple of days. So we've got the wind, but we've also got the rain. I now want to move over here to what's going on in Puerto Rico and the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands. And I can go ahead and take off that one radar product. And I want to switch over to the San Juan radar site here out of Puerto Rico. This is going to be live radar data updating here. It might take a second for the sweep to kick on, but we're looking at live data coming in from our San Juan radar. And we've had ongoing flash flooding through portions of Puerto Rico. We are seeing that streaks of rain coming in from the southern side of the island and then moving up to the north and to the east. So currently we do have a flash flood warning in effect, and the flood watch will go at least until Thursday morning. Thursday morning. We could pick up several more additional inches of rain throughout Puerto Rico and the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands. So I put on the loop over the last couple of hours. You can see the movement here of the rain from southwest to northeast, but notice that they're beginning to band up, especially on the eastern side of the island here, south and east of San Juan. And there's not a lot of great forward speed. So, in the southeast side of the island, on up towards Rio Grande and other areas towards Fajardo, and then off of the coastline, we've had several inches of rain fall already, and an additional 2 to 4 inches of rain is absolutely possible. Now, the heavy rain does extend through portions of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. It's a little bit more concentrated over Puerto Rico at the hour. But again, this is something I'm going to be monitoring here, is the additional rainfall in these areas over the next couple of days. So again, you're looking at the live radar here on this early Tuesday evening. There is some rain off towards the western side of the island, but it is certainly more concentrated right now interior in the eastern sides of the island. And again, in these banding areas, we've already had several inches of rainfall. So kind of highlighting the biggest areas of concern I have the next couple of days. It's going to be the Northwest Bahamas for the gale force warnings that go all the way until 6 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to have sustained winds north at 30 to 40, gusts of over 50 miles an hour. Small craft should be staying in port. Watch out for some potential tidal flooding. Some additional rain is possible, not a lot though. So again, it's mainly about the wind in the Bahamas. For Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, there's a flash flood warning right now, but the flash flood watch goes all the way until Thursday morning. It means that flash flooding is possible in these areas all the way through Thursday morning. They expect widespread 3 to 6 inches of rain, locally up to 8 inches of rain in a couple of areas. So again, be very cautious if you live in these areas, and I'll keep you up to date with that. All right, so let's kind of get over to the broad perspective here. I'm going to switch back over to our satellite product. This is the enhanced satellite imagery. We can see that low spinning. Might as well take a look at the water vapor imagery as well. It'll give you a good idea. You can see the moisture-laden air, especially over Puerto Rico, and it's going to be sliding east through the Virgin Islands and portions of the Leeward Islands. So we're going to talk about that coming up. We've had some rain in the ABC Islands. It's a little bit drier out towards the west, but all of this rich moisture is going to get sucked into the eastern side of this area of low pressure. Now, certainly the winds are going to be a huge factor over the next several days as well. So we'll look at the winds first, and then we'll get into the rain. Now, this low continues to deepen or get stronger just north of places like Grand Bahama and Walker's Key. It's going to be moving right over Bermuda, and it will continue to carry some winds over 50 miles an hour. So Bermuda here, as we get into our Wednesday and Thursday, is going to see exceptionally strong winds. For the rest of the Caribbean and the Bahamas, the winds will continue to be very fresh the next couple days, again, mainly out of the north, except the far southern side of the Windward Islands where it's more of an east or a southeast wind, but a good part of the Caribbean here and the Bahamas will stay with a northerly breeze. So again, if I step this back into time here throughout the remainder of this Tuesday evening and then into Wednesday, look how far south and east our north winds push that will continue to move in. Now, I want you to notice that in the northern side of the Leeward Islands, we're going to have winds that are going in different directions. We're going to have confluence or air coming together. That is going to provide lift in the atmosphere and produce the opportunity for some heavy rain from areas from Dominica north, including Guadeloupe and Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Anguilla as well, to go along with the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. So we have this confluence of air, the winds in different directions coming together, and that's going to provide the opportunity for some heavier rain there. But just look how far deep into the Caribbean we get a north wind. Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. My friends in Jamaica are going to have a fairly brisk northerly breeze for a couple of days as well. But again, this is the strongest system that we've had in a while. This area of low pressure is producing tropical storm force winds. Again, it's not August or July, but it is producing those kinds of winds. So let's look at the rain. We looked at the wind with this. Let me switch on over to this product first. That's the total precip. We'll look at that coming up in just a minute as well. So here's our model over the next 5 days. Again, the rain is not going to be extremely significant in the Bahamas the next couple of days, but it'll still be wet. Where I'm really focused on right now is, as I mentioned, the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico for additional heavier shower activity. So let's get into that right now. Going to zoom in. I'll start off with what's going to be happening in Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands first, and then we'll just move our way off towards the east. So going back to, again, the model later tonight, it's going to stay wet. You can see that the model picks up on that heavy rain on the eastern side of the island for San Juan, Ponce, but certainly areas off towards the east, including Fajardo and Culebra and Esperanza. So some of the areas there that could continue to see the heavy rain. But again, this is just going to be coming in waves. This is tomorrow morning. Look how covered up the islands are, including St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, Road Town there in the British Virgin Islands. It's going to be an extremely wet Wednesday with several inches of rain possible across all of these locations. The rain will continue in earnest through Thursday and slowly begin to break apart as it moves off towards the east throughout the day on Thursday. I do expect it to be drier as we get into Friday and the rest of the weekend. Still could be some scattered showers, but just not this heavy rain event we're going to have the next couple of days. As we get into the northern side of the Leeward Islands and the Lesser Antilles in general here, again, It will start off a little bit drier, but as we get into our Wednesday evening and then especially Thursday and into Friday, this is when the heavy rain potential sets up for Montserrat and Antigua, St. Kitts and Nevis, Barbuda, on over towards Anguilla. St. Martin would be included in this, St. Bartholomew as well. And again, this is going to be, let's see, today is the 6th, right? So the 7th, the 8th, this is going to be as we get into our Thursday and Friday. Here comes that heavier rain moving in. Nice slug of moisture. It'll begin to dry out over the weekend, but there's going to be about a 24 to 36 hour period here. I'm trying to stop the model and back it back up, and then we'll just go hour by hour again here. You can see that just good heavy rainfall. It's not typical for February to have this much moisture content in the atmosphere, but we're driving in a lot of moisture in this area here through at least, let's say, Friday morning. Now, how far south does this extend? Could be as far south as Martinique. I think the heavier rain is a little bit farther north than that, but at least for a time, places like Guadeloupe, especially, and then Dominica, Martinique, maybe St. Lucia could have pockets of heavier rain. You get down towards Barbuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Look, it's been very windy there. Very, very windy conditions there. They'll get some rain, but generally speaking, that'll stay to your north and west. But Barbados, St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago, the opportunity for a couple of showers. I'll let the model just loop over the next 5 days so you get that idea. So today being the 6th into the 7th for our Wednesday, Thursday the 8th, Friday the 9th, and then on Saturday the 10th, spotty rain. But again, if I take it a little bit broader view, you can see all of that moisture coming into the Leeward Islands. That's something I'm going to keep a very close eye on for everyone there the next couple of days. We've had some spotty rain over the ABC Islands. It's been exceptionally hot in some areas there too. Some of you have been telling me that, but we will be getting some cooler air with the northerly breeze, and we'll have the opportunity for more rain in this area, at least in a spotty variety. Like most areas, it might dry up a little bit over the weekend, but this is one of the areas, the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao, that can actually have some decent showers even over the weekend. For my friends in Jamaica, again, we've had some good wind. Some of you have said you've had some decent rainfall as well. That's good news. Best opportunity does look to be over the next couple of days for us here. Again, as we see the moisture kind of moving through. So I hope and expect there to be some showers ongoing the rest of this early evening on this Tuesday, maybe even some showers hugging in overnight. You can see that on the model right on through tomorrow morning, kind of wraps up a little bit and then tries to redevelop again during the evening and the overnight hours as we get into Thursday, and then kind of one more punch into Friday, with the weekend still providing an opportunity for a couple of showers across the island, but just a little bit drier as well. So I'll let this run one more time for my friends in Ocho Rios and Montego Bay, Westmoreland Parish, and the Grill in Mandeville, Savannah, Lamar, Kingston area, some spotty rain there for Portmore and Spanish Town, on over towards Port Antonio as well. Again, a little bit better chance the next couple of days. You've also had certainly some breezy conditions as well. Now let's look at the Bahamas and the rest of the rain forecast. For that, I'm going to switch over to the HER model real fast here. And then we'll look at the total precip for us as well. So there's the winds. Actually, I want to drop that off real quick here. Otherwise, we just have a little bit too much data on here. Go to the reflectivity product and then again, expand it out over the next couple of days. Again, this is a nice high resolution model. Going to give us a good idea of the twist that'll be coming in with the showers and the northerly wind. And again, for our friends in the central and the southeast Bahamas and the Turks and the Caicos, some of this rain will work its way into your area. It's going to end up being a little bit more spotty as it does so, and especially starting tomorrow, the air does begin to dry out a bit, okay? So we're not going to have as much moisture in the atmosphere as those north winds really crank in. So you'll see that the best opportunity for showers is the remainder of today through early on your Wednesday. And then we start to see that rain break apart a little bit more for us. All right, let's go over to the total precip number here. And again, these are going to be exceptionally high values for early February. Let me switch back over to this model and then go back over to total precip. Give me 1 second. As I'm doing so, I always ask you about this time, if you have an opportunity to hit the like button on the video, it really helps us out. We've been getting some great views lately. I appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you just want this new information forecasting for you across the Caribbean and the Bahamas. Appreciate you as well there. All right, so I've got it set up. Let's take a look at some of these numbers. Very, very impressive rain coming in. Again, this is just one model, but over the next 5 days, you can see it does paint on several additional inches of rain, mainly for the central and the eastern sides of Puerto Rico. Has more than 3 inches of rain in a couple of spots. And look, this could be underdoing it a bit as well. We've already had 2 to 4 inches of rain fall in some of these locations. Adding on an additional 3+ would get us up to that isolated 8-inch total that the Weather Service is talking about, and why they've issued the flash flood watch all the way through Thursday morning. Culebra, Esperanza, more than 3 inches of rain down towards St. Croix, an additional 2. Could be some heavier rain for St. Thomas and St. John. Again, up to 3, maybe 4 inches of rain. There's Road Town there as well. We'll extend this out again into the northern side of the Leeward Islands. There is Barbuda, 4 inches of rain. Antigua, nearly 4 inches of rain. Montserrat, right around 3. St. Kitts and Nevis, again, take the averages of this. St. Martin, right around 2. There's Anguilla, right around 2, but not far off. We have more than 3 or 4. So I'm expecting widespread 2 to 4 inches of rain with locally higher amounts, especially on the northern side of these islands, but really everywhere has a good chance. And again, this will mainly be for the Leeward Islands into Thursday and Friday. There's Guadeloupe, over 3 inches of rain in that area. Dominica is kind of the last spot to potentially see some heavier rain with some isolated flash flooding, a little bit more than 2 inches of rain. And again, the numbers do fall off very quickly when you go farther south towards Martinique. Barbados right now, just about 1/10 of an inch of rain. St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, not nearly as much there. Again, a little bit more maximum back towards the ABC Islands, nothing outrageous, just some good downpours from time to time. But Curacao coming in at about 1 inch plus of rain, same thing for Bonaire, and then on over towards Aruba, maybe about 1 inch of rain in a couple of spots, but some decent activity there. As I've mentioned, not as much rain for Jamaica overall. We're looking more like 1/4 to, I would say, a 1/2 inch is possible over the next 5 days. It's not out of the question, but again, the moisture is not as abundant in this part of the Caribbean. It's a little bit farther off towards the west. And just to kind of keep my friends in Cancun and Belize and the rest of Central America on the board as well, you might have an isolated shower, but generally speaking, many dry hours and locations over the next 5 days. But again, very impressive rainfall totals for Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and Northern Leeward Islands. The wind is going to be a huge story the next 36 hours or so in the Bahamas. In the comment section below, let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you're seeing outside where you're living. You got a question about the forecast, drop it in the comments section below. You know I got you covered. Speaking of getting you covered, we've got you covered across all of the social media platforms here. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok. We have an X page, Facebook. You can always send us a picture or video. Would love to hear from you. myMediaMundo@gmail.com. Is it February or is it July? Unbelievable stuff here, guys. So again, this low, massive feature which will continue to impact the area. You know I'm going to keep you up to date, especially for my friends with some areas of concern. And we'll do that right here on Meteo Mundo. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, friends. You know I'll see you soon.